Okay, today we're going to talk about HR diagrams. And when we talk about HR diagrams, the HR refers to Hertzsprung-Russell diagrams. Honestly, I think sometimes the name of these diagrams seem more complex than the diagram itself. So I want to just give you an example of what the diagram is. And remember, we've been talking about the life cycle of a star, and we've been talking about the different properties that help stars transition from one stage to the next. So now what we're going to do is just look at how scientists chart stars based on their properties. So at first, if we were to think about all of the stars in the universe and we plotted them according to temperature and then luminosity, and luminosity is just kind of a fancy way of saying brightness, we would call the resulting graph the main sequence. So let's put stars based on their temperature on the bottom side. Okay, so the hotter stars are going to go over here, and then the cooler stars are going to go over here to the right hand side. Our bright stars are going to go towards the top, and then our dimmer stars are going to go towards the bottom of the chart. And then let's start adding in stars. And I want you to notice what's happening as we add stars to this diagram. Okay, and let's just stop for a second here and look at the main sequence stars that appeared. Pay attention to their color, pay attention to their size. This chart is just kind of showing you a comparison based on size as well. So the larger stars that are drawn here, it does indicate the different sizes of those stars. We're going to continue adding stars. So we have our white dwarfs, our giants, our supergiants. And let me go back one second here. Some of the things I want you to pay attention to right now is that number one, you can see that they're not just randomly spread out. That's incredibly important to pay attention to. Another thing that I want you to notice is that luminosity and temperature, it has a relationship between each other. So as temperature is increasing, other things are happening with luminosity, and vice versa. As luminosity or the brightness is increasing, our temperature and has a relationship directly to that. So we're going to look at another HR diagram here that kind of just shows us the scale of where these different stages of the life cycle of a star are based on these diagrams. And what you're going to be doing today is working with an activity which is on Canvas called the Hertzsprung-Russell diagram assignment, and you're going to answer a couple questions based on a diagram I give you, and then on the last half of that assignment I'm having you go out and search for 5 stars. You can do that by looking up key phrases like list of well-known stars or list of main sequence stars. I want you to look up names of the stars, find what their average surface temperature and luminosity is, and then you're going to add that to the drawing of the diagram that's already present. So just a hint to you, when we get into that assignment here shortly, you're going to see that the diagram that is provided to you, if you double click on it, it's actually a Google drawing. So you will draw your 5 stars onto that chart.